Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me this week is not Josh Finney. He is taking a well-earned break. Also, he lost his voice. So we called in the fire team from the Discord. We have none other than, I'm supposed to introduce you as Old Man Ronnie. So we have Old Man Ronnie here. And then we also have the one who blesses the fire team with exotics. Supposedly, I don't know. I was promised one the last time we raided and I didn't get one. But Fox is also here. Hello guys.
Hello.
How is your week going? Is it every bit as good as mine? Is it going all right? Going great? That's how you expect it?
It's been a week.
It has indeed been a week.
It's been a week.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's been an interesting one. My throat is sore also because for those who don't know, well, this is between work and my other podcast. This is my 12th podcast of the week.
Oh
So
my
it's
god!
oh my god, help me. But it's fine. You know, it's worth it. I think sometimes, most times. Oh man, Guardian Games, guys, it started.
Yeah.
It has. I haven't had time to play it.
I know I haven't done any of it either. I've been so wrapped up in so many other things that Destiny has kind of been on the back burner, except for just like, oh, I'm gonna pop on and do my bounties real quick, and then I don't go to bed, I guess, because I have a long day tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really gotten into Guardian games, though, to be fair.
I got into it the first year it was out, like post Revelry. I was really into Revelry. I thought that shit was cool. But then Guardian Games came out. I was into it the first year, and then after it ended, I was like, that's it, because we were all like excited about this big. We were gonna get this huge statue, and it's like literally like half my size.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Well, it seems like everybody's doing the Titan thing this year.
yeah.
For Lance Reddick, so that's cool. It's good on them.
Good on them.
Good on the community, I guess. So yeah, I don't know how much we'll talk about Guardian games tonight, but we'll definitely talk about it next week, I'm sure. But yeah, I want to get a pulse on the season so far, because you guys are, very active in the Discord and in the community. Are you guys still like grinding away every day? Are you playing every day? Are you playing other games? Are you doing other things? Like, what's the feel right now?
If I have time, I'll grind out a little Destiny. I'll pop in and do some of my raids and what have you. This last 2 weeks have been super busy, but I'm trying to get deep into Jedi Survivor. Kind of picking away at that slowly but surely. But other than that, I'm not really gaming too much. It's kind of slow spot in the season. So
yeah.
What
about you, Ronnie?
I'm grinding every day. Or not grinding, but there's a couple of things I still need for the titles. So, and now with Guardian games, I do that when there is a quote unquote slow time. But
yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I did the seasonal stuff. I pop on every week to do some dungeons with my friends, or like, I don't know. I feel like I need to do some raids, man. I'm at the point where like I just want to skip the quote unquote dumb stuff and just raid and do the dungeons and stuff. But then like I gotta find the time. I gotta schedule everything, and it's just like I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to. I don't know.
Yeah,
I kind of miss the like. In some ways, I miss the old days where I could just jump on whenever I wanted and like, hey, let's go do like 3 raids in a row.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I was super excited like when we got the Vexcalibur mission, and then I got the first catalyst for it, but I haven't went back and done anything else since then.
I haven't even
Yeah.
touched it, not once. I got it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. I think Vexcalibur is cool, but like I'm not gonna waste an exotic on a glaive. I'm sorry.
No.
No.
Sorry.
I mean, it's a good glaive, but
Yeah.
It is, but
at the end of the day, it's a glaive.
yeah. Like I'm gonna just use Old Faithful from the first one from the Witch Queen. I don't even know what it's called. I forget what it's called, but I
Enigma?
use it every day.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So or judgment, I guess. So yeah, I feel like I don't know. I kind of feel like the stuff that's happening right now is not as exciting as it was at this point in the Witch Queen still, because I feel like a lot of people were excited during Season of the Risen going into Season of what was next. Haunted was next, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people were still like playing a lot and grinding stuff out, whereas now it just feels like everybody's like, nah, I'm gonna tune out. I'm gonna go play other stuff. Like Gathalion even tweeted out today. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna wait till like the last couple weeks of the season and just do everything at once. He's like, I got too many other games to play.
I think that's because the seasonal story was just way too short. IMO.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good, but it's just too short.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I think Season of the Deep's going to change a lot of people's mind. I think that art that we're going to talk about later looks kind of cool. Sloane has a taken arm, which is kind of interesting that she's only partially taken.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? I don't know. Also, all the armor is jellyfish themed, which is kind of interesting, and the giant eye. So we're fighting something large in the oceans of Titan, it seems. So
Yep.
Neat. Well, guys, we have two huge blogs to break down. We're gonna go through the season 21 tuning ability, and then we're gonna go through the TWAB, and then we're gonna answer some questions, and then we'll get out of here. It sounds like a short show, guys, but I'm telling you, it is it is gonna be anything but, because these things are so long. Oh my god! I'm gonna do my
earthy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best Josh impression, okay, and not skip over the stuff I don't know about. I'm just gonna act like I know about it and pretend to be Josh. So, all right, here we go. So, season 21 abilities tuning preview. There are a lot of changes coming, not just to Strand, but there's also some stuff for Stasis in here. That's really interesting. There's a lot of subclass changes coming on, so I guess we'll just start reading and going from here. So the fragment budget review. Over the last year, we've consistently heard feedback that single fragment slot aspects feel restrictive to players player build crafting freedom. Fragment slots are a critical balancing lever that we intend to continue to use to control aspect potency, but we don't feel that any of the current single fragment slot aspects are overperforming to the point of restricting them to a single slot. And so for season 21, we're increasing them to 2. To set expectations now, we are not committing to a minimum budget of 2 fragment slots for future aspects, and we may change these slot allotments in the future. As we monitor the affected aspect's performance following this change, additional updates to their potency levels should be expected. So the increased fragment slot allotment for the following aspects from 1 to 2 are for the Hunter, Trapper's Ambush, Shatter Dive, and Gunpowder Gamble. For the Titan, Bastion and Juggernaut, and then Warlock is a Chaos Accelerant. Yeah, so they're changing some aspect stuff. Seems interesting for build crafters. Super tuning updates. I hate the word super. Like when people use the word super, it seems like they're just like over
overcompensating.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. With Lightfall's release came 2 new roaming supers, Silk Strike and Blade Fury. The tuning on these supers was an experiment to determine where we felt roaming supers could live in the combat sandbox. We're pretty happy with the results, and with Season 21, we're taking a pass at another roaming super, as well as some underperforming burst supers to increase their viability. While there are too much new... While there is too much nuance in the Destiny sandbox to completely equalize the performance of something as diverse as our suite of supers, our hope is that this puts them on a more level playing field. One of the ways we're working to increase the viability is through damage resistance. In addition to the damage resistance values that supers have against other players, all supers have additional intrinsic damage resistance against PvE combatants, which we're increasing. With this change, our goal is that supers, in particular melee supers, are more easily able to engage with targets in high difficulty content. So they're increasing the damage resistance by 20%. So that's quite the hike.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just roaming supers or if it's. I mean, it says all supers, but it very well could be like well and bubble.
Yeah, I mean, it says their goal is that they want melee supers to be able to engage more easily in high difficulty content. So like what like shield, like Sentinel Titans, I guess would be one. I'm trying to think of what Blade, whatever the hunter one is, the Blade, what is it called? Blade Dancer. I want to call it Blade Dancer.
Blade Barrage.
Blade Barrage.
That's the solar
Arc
one. Arc
Yeah.
Strider.
Arc Strider.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Titan Behemoth, I guess, would be one, depending on your build. So, I mean, cool, I guess. I still don't know if I want to go into high-end content like running and gunning like I like to do in every other piece of content.
Yeah.
But yeah, in our initial subclass 3.0 conversation, we opted to not include subclass keyword integration, e.g. Jolt, Scorch, etc., into most supers. But now that the dust has settled, we are revisiting that idea. With Season 21, we are taking a pass at the roster and adding intrinsic keyword behaviors where their inclusion makes sense. Unlike existing interactions such as Arc Staff with Lethal Current or Sentinel Shield with Controlled Demolition, these will be baked into the super's base behavior. Let's go through the changes class by class. Hunters. We're gonna do hunters and then warlocks and then titans. It looks like, or titans and warlocks, I guess. Overall, we're happy with hunter supers. Where hunter supers sit in high level PvE gameplay. They offer strong burst damage and relative safety, and several already have keyword integration. However, there's still a few supers that are lagging behind the rest of the pack, and we'd like to address. Golden Gun and Arc Staff are slightly underperforming in their intended combat roles, so we're giving them a PvE damage bump that we think will make them more viable. Golden Gun, both Marksman and Deadshot, increased PvE damage by 20%, and Arc Staff is also increasing by 20%. Do either of you play Hunter regularly?
I'm on main.
Yeah, Fox. I knew you did. Yeah. So, I mean, does this interest you at all? I mean, these 20% boosts. Are you going to do this? Or are you kind of happy with what you're doing?
Golden Gun, I don't really use. It's kind of poop. TBH. I mean, 20% damage. It's kind of beefy. But I think the Arc Staff, it's underwhelming in PvE, so it's definitely going to be a good change. The only place I could see it being like somewhat useful in PvE is like for ad clear and raids. Like specifically what I'm thinking right now is Queen's Walk in Last Witch. Like that's really the only place I think I've ever seen anyone ever use Arc Staff. Well, wait, is that... If that's considering the like throwy one, whatever the hell it's called. Because considering that under Arc staff, then that's like huge. Because that thing is already like super useful for boss damage as is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Oh, excuse me. I think, like you said, Golden Gun's kind of poopy. I always wonder why people use Golden Gun unless they have like Celestial Nighthawk on and you're fighting a boss for DPS. Like I never like, but at that point, I feel like you have to have another hunter that has a different subclass on to
Yeah.
even make it, viable at some point. So I don't know, but yeah, ad clearing for arc staff seems pretty useful in certain situations, I guess. Spectral Blades has historically been a significant underperformer, so we're taking a harder swing here and allowing its heavy attack to weaken targets on hit. We're also fixing a long-standing bug where at maximum attack speed, some attacks could fail to connect, which result in a significant amount of lost damage output. Spectral Blades is increasing their PvP damage by 35%. Did I ever say that right? PvE damage.
Yeah.
By 35%. I thought I said PvP for a second. PvE damage by 35%. Heavy attack now weakens targets on hit. They fixed an issue causing some right-hand Spectral Blades attacks to fail to connect when attacking at maximum attack speed. It's because you prefer your left hand. That's why.
Yeah.
The stranger method.
Hunters are left-handed. Confirmed.
Yeah. Confirmed. Yeah. Confirmed. I'm left-handed.
Really?
So, yeah. It's weird. It's fine. When building Gathering Storm for Arc 3.0, we intentionally required significantly higher player precision on the initial throw to separate its role in combat from Nova Bomb. But the current iteration too frequently fails to reward that precision in the Crucible, particularly in super versus super interactions. To address this, we're making targeted adjustments to the direct impact and delaying lightning strike damage to increase the payoff for direct landing the staff, or properly timing the lightning strike and increasing the damage Gathering Storm does against stationary defensive supers. Gathering Storm is the direct impact damage versus players increased from 200 to 300. Delaying lightning strike damage versus players increased from 300 to 500. Lingering lightning stick damage versus players increased from 40 to 60. And now it deals increased damage to Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn. Yeah, because we need another reason for anybody to pop the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool, thanks. So that's the hunter stat boosts. Fox, how do you feel about it? Are you feeling okay? You feeling good? You feel like hunters? You feel like you're not going to ditch your hunter now? Because I heard you're switching to Titan. That's what the Discord's saying.
No. Ronnie, I bet you're spreading rumors about me. Anyway, probably. Spectral Blades, again, it's pretty poop. Yeah. I'm glad they're doing something about that. I've literally never seen anyone ever use Spectral Blades in anything outside of Crucible. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why they're changing it. Whatever. And still nobody's going to use it, but it happens. Yeah. And then Gathering Storm that was strictly like PvP changes. So.
Right. I feel like sometimes they change. I feel like sometimes they change things just for the sake of changing them, so in the hopes that people will use them, and nobody's ever gonna.
Yeah.
No.
Like throw it against the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. So. All right, we'll move on to Titans, the best class. On the whole, we believe Titan Supers are currently falling a bit short in high-level PvE. Thanks. didn't notice. To remedy this, we're increasing the PvE damage of several roaming supers across Arc, Solar, and Stasis. Great, because we need 3 roaming supers.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, while we increase Fists of Havoc's PvE damage in Lightfall, its performance in high difficulty content hasn't noticeably improved. So we're more holistically reevaluated its attack energy costs and are enabling its heavy attack to blind targets. So Fist of Havoc's light attack cost reduced from 8.5 to 6%. Heavy attacks cost reduced from 18 to 12%. Increase heavy attack PvE damage by 33%. Jeez, 33%. I might have to do a striker build now. Heavy attack now blinds targets near the center of the slam area. Great, I like that. As a Titan main, I enjoy blinding enemies. Right, that's why Helm of Saint 14 never comes off. Right, when they walk into the bubble. I know it's not technically blinding, but it's kind of blinding.
So, have you not yet got your cowboy hat?
I have not. We grinded it out.
God.
We grinded it out. Dude, last Friday we grinded it out. We did that up to like we did the up to the first encounter like maybe 12 times and I still didn't get it.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It's awful. I hate this. I hate it so much. All I want is the damn cowboy hat so I can rock it in my that build you sent me, Ronnie, for the raid.
Yeah.
Because not that that's an important, not that it's an important part of the build, but it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. It's all about the drip.
It's all about. Let's see. Where did I leave off? While Glacier Quake's heavy slam is in a solid place with strong damage output, the light attack doesn't offer enough of a reward to feel worthwhile in its current state. To address this, we're increasing the light attack's damage against all targets and increasing its speed by 10%. Great, because that's what you want in an uncontrollable super is more speed. This attack will also benefit from some improvements we're making to the neutral game shiver neutral game shiver strike that you'll read about further on. So Glacier Quake is increasing shiver strike thrust speed while in super by 10% and increasing light attack damage by 20%. I can deal with that. 20%? Sure. For Sentinel Shield, Hammer of Soul, and Burning Maul, we're happy with their performance given their additional utility, but we feel that some minor damage increases would significantly help their usability in situations where pure offense is needed. For Burning Maul in particular, we're also making a small quality of life change in its interaction with the Soul Invictus aspect and allowing the heavy attack Cyclone to apply a small amount of Scorch. Sentinel Shield increase PvE damage by 20%. Great. Love that. Hammer of Soul increased by 20% and Burning Maul is increased by 10%. Burning Maul also now creates a sunspot on cast while Soul Invictus is equipped, matching the behavior of Hammer of Soul. Heavy attack Cyclone now applies Scorch over time. That's cool too. Man,
I might be a Burning Maul main now.
Yeah, I know, dude. That sounds so cool. I need to do a Burning Maul build now.
We already said that you're switching to Titan main, so there you go.
Yeah. No, I've got my build, dude. I've got it right here.
Got it right there.
Right here.
As a Titan main, I like most of these changes. I don't think that Glacial Quake needs to be faster.
No.
I feel like that super is super uncontrollable, and if you make it faster, it's going to make it more uncontrollable, and less people are going to use it. I find myself when I go to use it, I find myself throwing myself off the edge more often than not, and it really upsets me. So, Ronnie, what are your thoughts on these?
On the Titan one, like I agree with you with the Glacial Quake because you're just going crazy, and like you, I fall off of stuff.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, okay, well, what's the point?
Right.
And then
I mean, I don't know if anybody out there knows this. I'm not the greatest Destiny player, so I try twice as hard to do what I can out there. Okay. So, but yeah, anything you do to make me faster or, make me less controllable, then I am just gonna pass.
yep.
All right. Well, I guess we should talk about warlocks because some people play that class. Warlocks have generally strong neutral game abilities and are doing well within our expected performance band, but a number of their super options currently feel below the bar in high-level content. With Season 21, we're addressing some of these outliers on the low end, focusing primarily on Stormcaller and Voidwalker, with a few quality of life fixes sprinkled throughout. For Voidwalker, we're increasing the PvE damage output of Nova Warp and both Nova Bomb variants and allowing Nova Warp to make targets volatile. Nova Warp increased PvE damage by 15%. A fully charged attack now makes enemies volatile on hit. That's cool. Nova Bomb's PvE damage increased by 20%. Ronnie, you're a Warlock main, right?
I equally play all three, actually. So,
you're one of those people.
Yeah, I'm one of the weird people.
Weird.
Does this do anything for you? I mean, I like Void Warlocks when I do play a Warlock, which is rare these days, but I think these sound like interesting changes.
Yeah,
especially the volatile on hit.
Yeah, especially with the aspects that we had. Well, this doesn't go in until next season, but like with the seasonal artifacts with Void that we had, this would really be super. Yeah. But if we're not having it next season, then we'll see how that shakes out too.
Yeah. I might play around with a Warlock and some strikes or something and play around with some of this. I think the volatile on hit thing really seems cool.
It could pair with a couple other things too.
Yeah, that could really make it interesting. For Stormcaller, we don't believe either Stormtrance or Chaos Reach are excelling at their intended roles in the current landscape, so we're taking a pass at their PvE damage output and allowing them both access to the Jolt keyword. Stormtrance increasing PvE damage by 25%. Damage ramp while attacking now occurs more quickly, over 3 seconds, down from 5. And landfall detonation and Seekers now jolt targets. Chaos Reach increased PvE damage by 25%. Sustained damage on a single target now creates a jolting lightning strike at the target's location. Increased damage resistance versus players from 40 to 50%. Increased maximum strafe speed from 3.5 milliseconds to 4.5 milliseconds, and adjusted super camera to avoid the player's body blocking the view of the targets when strafing.
So this is really interesting because this is exactly what the Arc Warlock needed. I'm not sold that it's enough because Arc Warlock's fun. Their supers were lacking. So I don't know if increased damage by 25% on both of them will make it viable to switch.
I don't know, man. Chaos Reach, it was pretty banging. It was so banging that they had to nerf it. But now 25%, that's kind of hefty. I don't know. We'll have to play around with it and see what it's going to do. I think it's definitely going to be used for probably some good damage strats on the new dungeon.
Well, I was going to talk about it when we're done here, but go for it. Because I have overall abilities comment. So.
Oh no, go for it. I said what I needed to say. I think Chaos Reach is going to be great.
Do you want me just to finish up the Warlock part here real quick, and then we can kind of go over?
Yeah.
All right, so while we're happy with Winter's Wrath excelling as crowd control tool, we're giving it a small damage boost in PvE to increase its usability in situations like boss damage phases. Winter's Wrath increased PvE damage by 10%. And finally, we're making some small adjustments to the Daybreak camera to make it easier to locate targets in the heat of combat. Adjusted super camera to allow the player to look down further and avoid visual effects blocking view of targets when moving quickly. I think anytime you make the player feel more powerful and allow them to have an easier time feeling powerful, I think a lot of these changes are for the better. I think that the PvE stuff, like if you want to balance stuff for PvP, again, armchair game developer here, right? File save as PvE versus PvP, right? But I think as long as you're building something for PvE and allowing players to experiment and feel powerful, I think a game we talked about a couple was it last year, maybe 2 years ago at this point, Outriders, they didn't have a PvP mode, but that game had a lot of cool powers that you could manipulate and upgrade and play around with, and it did a great job of making you feel powerful. And I think Destiny has the right tools to do that. I think they've been so focused on, at least at one point, trying to balance this entire game for PvE and PvP, that I think maybe sometimes they miss the point on what feels good when you're playing the game. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of these changes are good. I know, Ronnie, you said you had some things to say overall.
No, I agree. I think overall, but I think it's trying to get the supers back to the higher end PvE part, because besides Well and Tether, in raids or dungeons or whatever, then you really don't see any since Arc 3.0 when everybody was thunderstriking everything.
Yeah. Fox, do you have any thoughts? Oh, sorry, Ronnie.
No, I was just saying, so I think it's a good volley to try to get that equal back instead of just high DPS weapons.
Yeah. I'm in the same vein. I know they said it's been almost a year and a half ago now. They wanted to put the focus more on gunplay, and now that we've had the gunplay, we've seen the linears, the rockets, and now fucking Thunderlords, the main source of damage. We need to start seeing the supers fall in line with all of these guns that are being brought into the spotlight.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think these are good changes. I think pairing some of these with some of the weapon changes that they're eventually going to do will probably make some of these better. Some of the what? Why? Okay, sorry, my phone buzzed and it bothers me. I'm gonna put it over here so we're not interrupted. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna move on to Strand tuning updates. They're tuning a lot of Strand. Let's talk about Strand, our newest damage type. Did you guys know that Strand was their newest damage type?
Weird.
Whoa.
I know. I didn't know.
Neat, bro.
Oh man, sometimes. We're still in the process of evaluating Strand's performance in the live game, and we expect that performance to continue to shift over the course of this year with new aspects. As new aspects are added for each class. For now, we're making some adjustments to base cooldown times and targeted improvements to pain points that we've observed since Lightfall's launched. I read it as pinpoints first. I was like,
fair.
Hunters, yeah. Look, pain point is not exactly something I say often, so it threw me off. Reading is hard, guys. Okay, as you get older, your eyesight starts to go first. Okay. For the Hunters, threaded spike. Increase projectile travel range before beginning to return to the player by 30%. Damage increase in PvE combatants by about 55%. Jeez, 55%.
Jesus.
Was it that bad that they had to increase it by that much?
No, it was ridiculous.
Oh, well,
Oh wait, no,
Uh,
is this is the throwing thing?
Yeah,
Okay,
this
yeah,
this
is
never
is
mind.
yeah.
Yeah, it was poop. It was like it was worse. It was awful. It was terrible. Yeah, it
Oh
needed that.
man, that's a great shirt idea though. It was poop, and it's
there
It
it
was
is.
just like
poop.
some poop with some strand elements
Mhm.
coming in it. Slightly reduced speed of the dart as it returns to the player to make catching it easier. Increase energy gain for catching the dart based on the number of enemies hit. Now pierces Cabal phalanx shields and no longer prioritizes the catch action over the grapple melee in an enemy target is within grapple melee range. Those all sound like good changes for hunters, I think.
Yes, very
So
good. Especially the Cabal Phalanx and the increased damage. The range
yeah,
was pretty good on it already, but I mean, 30%. I'm not gonna say no.
yeah. I would say anything over like 10%, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Give me more power, I guess.
Yeah.
Titan seems to be getting the least amount of changes here. Frenzied Blade decreased cooldown based on how many melee charges the player has stored. At 0 charges, cooldown reduced by 15%. At 2 charges, cooldown reduced by 30%. Okay, that's cool, I
Mhm.
guess. I don't know. I think the cooldown on the Titan melee has been, as Fox would say, poop. And I would like to charge faster, so that's good. That I think that helps also help me spec things in different areas too. Because
Mhm.
when I run strand, I've been specking into melee, so it charges faster. Because it angers me that it's not fast enough, and that's just wasting resources and armor pieces. To be honest, armor slot
I
stuff.
didn't
So,
find it all that slow. Like
yeah. Well,
it seemed
well,
to.
here's the thing. All my armor is tuned for my bubble titan and my sentinel titan, and so my melee is like 0. It's literally, I think my melee right now is literally at like 12 or 15. It's so bad.
Well,
It's so,
Corey, we can save loadouts in game now, right?
I know,
Okay,
but I haven't saved a strand one because I don't use strand unless I have to.
agreed.
So I've stuck to the bubble. I don't know. I just do what I'm comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Yep, I understand.
Get set in your ways. You've been playing the same same position for 10 years. You're just like, why
Yeah.
change now? Warlocks. Arcane Needle, decreased cooldown based on how many melee charges the player has stored. At 0 charges, cooldown reduced by 15%, and at 2 charges, cooldown reduced by 30%. Increased projectile speed based on the projectile's flight time. Initial velocity to 40 meters per second, up from 30. And final velocity increased to 70 meters per second, up from 60. And increased projectile tracking strength by about 10%.
That's
Cool.
fair.
Yeah. Grappling. Grapple reduced base cooldown from 105 seconds to 82 seconds. Thank God.
Yes, thankful.
God, specking around grapple for strand has been so, again, less anger inducing than the melee stuff, but still, like, man, if I want to run like double grapple or something, like, because it's, man, yeah, I want to be able to, like, I want to be able to be Spider-Man out in
Mhm.
Neomuna, you know. I want to grapple. I don't want to like pull a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 thing where I go to shoot my web and it's gone and you just fall to your death.
Mhm.
Yep.
My back. Thread of Generation, reduce energy generation provided by some damage over time mechanics, and reduce energy generation provided by trace rifles by 36%.
Yes.
Great.
Anything good about trace rifles, I'll take.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, trace rifles are so fun.
Dude, I
They
used
I
to
are.
be
wish there,
so anti. So anti.
Me too.
man,
Yeah.
I, man, ever since that weekend of Prometheus Lens laser tag, like, it was just, man. I really like a good trace rifle. I didn't like them. When what's that first one we got? Cold something.
Cold Heart.
Cold Heart.
Yeah, Cold Heart. Like, I was like, man, this is cool, and then it wasn't cool, and I'm like, I don't like this at all. Like, these are dumb.
Yeah. I'm so mad about laser tag weekend. I played the whole entirety of it, and I didn't get the fucking emblem. I was so salty.
Oh man, sucks to suck.
Bungie support, give me my emblem.
It's fine. You
Yeah,
survived.
I'm okay.
It's all okay. Promise. Stasis tuning updates.
You.
Yeah, I know. I hate stasis so much, dude. So here's the thing. I actually like the idea of stasis. I like being able to freeze people and like do cool things with ice powers. I think that's super cool. But like, man, the Titan just got the raw end of the stick here.
Mm-hmm.
Across seasons 14 and 15, we made a series of tuning changes to our stasis subclasses to bring them closer to our expected power bar, primarily in Crucible. With subclass 3.0 strand out the door, we're revisiting some of those changes and making updates where we feel specific stasis abilities or aspects are lacking in the current landscape, in particular, where previous changes had a negative impact on the feel of the ability. Hunter's Withering Blade increased projectile tracking search range on bounce versus players by 20% and increase the maximum tracking strength by 12.5%.
Nuts.
What does that mean to you, Fox? Because I again, as somebody who doesn't even have a hunter created, okay,
what?
I don't know what this means.
Conversation for a different day. I mean, you know how the tracking on this is.
Yeah, the tracking's
It's
stupid.
stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But let's make it stronger. I'm okay with that. You know,
I'm sure as a hunter that you may use this at some point.
I hate stasis, but I may use it.
Man, I hate tracking stuff. The only thing that's worth having tracking on is Gallarhorn. I will stand by that until Destiny is over.
It's a fact.
Titan's Shiver Strike, maximum thrust while in flight increased by 16%. Decreased maximum downward influence of gravity while in flight by 18%. Great.
Cool.
Nice. Maximum thrust.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need. Howl the Storm, increase width of freezing cone versus players by 31%. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why are we doing all this stuff versus in PvP when everybody just complained about stasis in PvP? So let's just make it stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they nerfed it a while ago, but still.
Because they made it like unusable except for warlocks.
Yeah. I guess that's fair, but still. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah.
Warlock, Frost Pulse now provides 2 meters of additional melee. Great, because Warlocks need more range in their punches. Melee lunge range after activation for 1.2 seconds. Cool.
Yep. Cool.
That's it for your stasis tuning updates, everybody. I don't know. I'm still not going to use stasis regularly.
No.
Here's the thing. I would like to. I think throwing the grenade walls is cool, and I think stasis is cool in theory, but using it in practice sometimes just really pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I only use it on my hunter, to be honest, and that's mainly when I'm playing PvP. But
yeah,
I don't use it at all.
All right, guys, we're going through the light subclass tuning updates now. So strap in, I guess. For our light subclasses, Season 21 brings a general tuning pass at a wide variety of abilities focused on those that are significantly overperforming or underperforming. For the Titan with update 3.4.0, we made shoulder charge abilities significantly easier to use and increase their viability as a movement tool at the cost of the ability to one-shot other players without intentional build crafting. Yeah, I know. Thank you. I can't just shoulder charge someone and kill them.
Mm-hmm.
My as subclass 3.0 rolled out and shoulder charge abilities were no longer locked to specific subclass diamonds. It's become clear that the extreme mobility enabled by the energy cost of shoulder charge is too high. While we're comfortable with players having strong movement capabilities at their disposal, these abilities should have a meaningful trade-off for their use and shouldn't be always on. Yes, they should.
Mm-hmm.
Stop taking my things away from me. To that end, we're adding a small melee charge cost to shoulder charge abilities on activation, regardless of whether a target was hit. Come on. Really?
Bad day to be a Titan, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, come on. Seismic Shield Strike, Shield Bash, and Hammer Strike now cost 15% melee energy on activation. Base cooldowns are now standardized at 91 seconds, previously ranged at 101 to 114 seconds. Based on your strength stat, the effective cooldown on shoulder charges as a movement tool will range from around 17 seconds at 0 strength and down around 7 seconds at 100 strength. Great, thanks. In Season 21, we're also making some adjustments to knockout, shield throw, throwing hammer, and sunspots. Knockout currently offers a large number of easy to activate powerful effects, the most prominent in which is a long duration melee lunge bonus, which has proven to be extremely difficult to combat as a potential target. To bring this aspect's potency closer in line with that of its peers, we're reducing the melee lunge bonus it provides from 2 meters to 1 meter. Great, thanks. To offset this change in PvE, we're also increasing its uncharged melee damage bonus in PvE targets from 60% to 100%. Lunge range reduced to 6.5 to 5.5 meters. Uncharged melee PvE damage increased 60 to 100. For shield throwing and throwing hammer, we're making a few improvements to their usability. Shield throw increased base impact damage from 60 to 70. Okay, I'll take increase on shield bash. Increased consistency of finding and adjusting initial trajectory towards a new target after a bounce. And throwing hammer now adjusts its initial flight trajectory based on your aim assist target. With the launch of Witch Queen last year, we implemented a preemptive tuning change to reduce the amount of damage sunspots dealt to players. Sunbreaker performance is currently trailing the rest of the Titan subclasses in Crucible. So with Season 21, we're walking that change back slightly to make sunspots a safer haven for Sunbreakers and their allies. That's awesome. Great. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And better at encouraging enemies to keep their distance. Soul Invictus increases damage dealt by sunspots to enemy players per tick from 17 to 22. Great. All for that. I love some of these changes. Mm-hmm. I don't like the shield or the shoulder charge changes, but that's just a fart in the wind at this point. These are great changes for Titans. I think I do think the shield throw stuff and the hammer throwing and the Soul Invictus stuff that's great. Yeah. Great change.
Yeah, applied with the hammer of soul stuff. Also.
Yeah.
Solar Titan is definitely back on the menu.
Yeah. Back on the menu, again. Boys.
Back on the menu.
Back on the menu. Hunters. For Hunters, we're making a series of targeted changes to Night Stalker and Gunslinger melee abilities. For Night Stalkers, we're increasing the Snare Bomb's effectiveness as a debuffing tool to help enable more offensive playstyles and furthering their ability to support their allies. So Snare Bomb increased PvE weaken duration on detonation from 4 seconds to 8 seconds. Is that good? Is that good for you, Fox?
It's pretty good. I mean, I don't really use it in PvE at all, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably should now. 8 seconds is a good bit of time. I know Wilderflight, the GL from Spire has like what's called disorienting, whatever. Now it's basically the same thing, but blinding on just grenade launchers in general. Disorienting is crazy good, so I'm sure this will be great. And then the weekend added on top of that is just massive. I mean, weekend doesn't apply that much, but it applies.
Yeah. Let's see where we at for gunslingers. Proximity, explosive knife, and weighted throwing knife have dominated the performance charts, with a lightweight knife struggling to land in its intended role as an easy-to-use melee option. To bring these back into expected power band, we're shifting the damage output of proximity explosive knife slightly further towards the direct impacts, reducing the ease of use of weighted throwing knife for mouse and keyboard inputs, especially for very close range, and making lightweight knife easier to use for a broader range of player skills. Proximity explosive knife detonation damage versus players reduced from 105 to 90. Impact damage versus players increased from 14 to 20. Weighted throwing knife on mouse and keyboard reduced minimum tracking shape by 25% and maximum tracking shape by 10%. The shape grows over 0.5 seconds after the projectile is thrown. And lightweight knife projectile speed increased from 30 meters per second to 40 meters a second, and tracking shape size increased by 20%. That seems like a pretty significant change for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, in addition to being granted an extra fragment slot, we're also significantly reducing the cooldown of gunpowder gamble, which currently lives in too narrow of a niche to the widespread usage. Gunpowder gamble reduced cooldown from 12 seconds to 6 seconds.
Wow,
that's a big reduction.
That's huge. Gunpowder gamble is ridiculously fucking good, so I will gladly take that.
Yeah, that's man. 6 seconds is a long time, everybody. No. I know it doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're in there,
like on say, we'll take for example the Colossus in third encounter on each of the plates in Rude Nightmares. So yeah, well, it's like a mini boss, right? An ultra, whatever the fuck it's called. A gunpowder gamble takes that down. I want to say roughly by 2/4 to or 2/3 to 3/4 in that area. It'll take them down. So having like that time halved is just nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nuts. It's crazy. All right, we're gonna move on to warlocks here. Promise we're almost done with this ability tuning thing, guys.
So big.
And then we have 7,000 word TWAB to get through.
Yeah, it's fine. The TWAB won't take as long, I don't think. Maybe it will. Who knows? Stay tuned. Check your podcast time to see if we're right. For warlocks, we've got changes to Incinerator Snap, Ball Lightning, and a pair of Chaos Accelerant boosted grenades. During Season 21 development, we identified a bug with Incinerator Snap that resulted in the projectiles failing to proximity detonate. We fixed this bug and needed to make some tuning adjustments to compensate. In PvE, Incinerator Snap should feel more consistent and keep roughly the same damage output that it had on previous seasons. In the Crucible, however, Incinerator Snap's total damage has been reduced slightly to offset dramatically improved consistency. So they fixed the issue preventing the secondary projectile aiming shape from activating, and total damage versus players reduced from 150 to 135 to compensate for dramatically increased consistency. With Ball Lightning, we're increasing PvE damage output and implementing a small quality of life change to help prevent PvE combatants from flinching out of its downward lightning strikes while the player is amplified. Increased PvE damage by 30%. And reduce ping scalar on both primary and secondary detonations so combatants are less likely to be knocked out of the secondary strike area while the player is amplified. Seems like a decent change.
Mm-hmm.
with the launch of season 16, we made some tuning changes to charged scatter grenades to improve their consistency. While these changes helped, there are still too many instances of sub munitions detonating before reaching their target for our comfort. So we're increasing their lifetime and tracking ability. In addition, we're increasing the time players can hold a charged magnetic grenade to allow a bit more leeway in their timing to counterplay an enemy trying to close the gap. So in Chaos Accelerant, Scatter Grenade increased tracking consistency of charged scatter grenades sub-munitions, increased sub-munition aiming duration, and fixed the bug where sub-munitions were impacting the ground on creation in some situations, resulting in early detonation. The magnetic grenades increased charged hold time from 3.2 to 4.5 seconds. Let's talk about Lightning Surge. We've identified a bug allowing Lightning Surge to effectively one-shot an enemy player in the Crucible if activated near a wall or other surface. We're fixing the bug and making some updates to Lightning Surge to provide a more consistent experience for both attacker and target. So they fixed the issue to deal more instances on secondary strike damage than intended. Now targets can take a maximum of 2 instances of damage from a single activation of the ability. 1 from the primary lightning strike around the player, and 1 from a secondary lightning strike. This change necessitated some changes to damage values, but in general, its damage output should be significantly more consistent and slightly higher than the intended value previously, but without the ability to one-shot a single enemy guardian from full health. These seem like pretty decent changes for the Warlock stuff.
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah. So, great.
Like I don't ever use magnetic grenades anyway, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't, good. I'm glad Andre and Nerd can play their Warlocks and be happy with this. That's what I have to say.
Well, Andre anyways.
Yeah. Andre. Anyways, subclass keyword tuning updates. We love you, Andre. We're just messing with you. With Season 21, we're also making changes to a handful of subclass keywords for our Arc and Solar subclasses. This is the last part, guys, by the way, for this blog. We're almost there. Everybody. Almost there. Today, we're talking about Scorch, Jolt, and Speed Booster. The damage and duration of Scorch is highly variable depending on how many stacks are applied from the given source. While that variability is intentional, the delta in value between low and high stack amounts is a little too high for our liking, so we're slightly increasing the duration before Scorch stacks begin dropping off of a target to give low stack amounts slightly more value. So increase stun time before stacks begin falling off from 1.5 to 2.3 seconds on players, and 3 seconds to 4.5 on PvE combatants. Man, a full second and a half. It's pretty good. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Since its introduction with Arc 3.0, Jolt has performed very well in its role of making beefy targets into miniature Tesla coils. But in its current state, its damage output is too similar to Ignition's, but at a significantly lower cost, so we're making a small reduction in its potency. Jolt also has an intrinsic damage bonus against major combatants, which we're reducing slightly, making Jolt damage more consistent across all target types. So reduce base PvE damage by 15%. Reduce additional damage scalar versus major combatants in PvE by 20%. So for you people who like Jolt, sorry. With Speed Booster, we're making a handful of quality of life improvement. Specifically, we're making its activation time slightly shorter while increasing its linger time after stopping a sprint to make maintaining an active speed booster more achievable in combat. We're also slightly reducing an additional jump acceleration it provides. So bonus jump acceleration scale reduced from 1.5 to 1.25. Now activates while sprinting after 2.5 seconds, down from 3 seconds. Now lingers while the player is not sprinting for 2 seconds, up from 1.5. And fixed a bug where if the player was already sprinting and then became amplified, speed booster would not be granted. So that's it. That's all of your ability updates, everybody.
Yay.
For now.
Not too much.
Until you guys have to go over what they're changing post patch notes at.
I know. Give it 6 weeks. Josh and I will be back in here complaining about something, I'm sure. But in all honesty, I mean, how do you guys feel about these changes overall? I mean, are you happy with them? Are there ones that you think are like, meh, this sucks?
As far as sucking, really the only thing I feel bad about is the Titan shoulder charge. That's really the only super bad thing I'm seeing. Everything else is pretty freaking balanced.
Yeah, that shoulder charge stuff. I mean, they already nerfed it into the ground. Why you're just look, man, you're just pressing the knife further into the wound. Okay, it's just not, But hey, who am I to say?
Not only that, with Strand, we'll give everybody shoulder charge.
Yeah.
It's true, I guess. I guess that's fair. So now we're strap in, everybody. We're going into the TWAB.
We're going to talk about the week.
Yeah, second TWAB of the week. You're right,
it's
man.
So long.
I know, man. Like, gosh, spread the shit out, man. I mean, I guess technically they did over 2 days, but that doesn't. I don't have time to do 3 tower casuals in a week, guys. Come on, Bungie. Come on. We're friends, right? Come on, help me out here. I'm not leaking any of your crap, okay? Just let me know. Just help me out here. Too soon? All right.
Too soon.
So
no, not really.
So we're gonna hit on Guardian games, and we're gonna dive deep into Season of the Deep, I guess. And then there's a few other things we can talk about going in here. There's some economy changes. So yeah, a lot of the stuff in here is actually like just shorter versions of what we just read, actually. So It's all good. So one class to rule them all, or at least to get bragging rights. Guardian Games has started. I mean, before we jump into this, I mean, are you guys enjoying Guardian Games? Are you?
I like it better than last year.
Like yeah, I mean, my thing is like I really want to like the Titan armor, but like, man, why are we like doing the Beats by Dre thing? Why are we like, what is this? I feel like we're getting closer. We're getting closer to the Sparrow Racing League spandex things. Okay, we're just
it's better than
we can't do SRL anymore. Amanda's,
It's better than the Warlock Lance Armstrong looking.
Yeah,
suit.
Whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
Sorry, nerd. Sorry, not sorry.
Which, by the way, Guardian Games has its own blog post. We're not going to get into all of that, but we're gonna talk about some of it. I do like how they took Hung Jury and just painted it with some, red, yellow, and blue flare on it. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, that's kind of what the scout rifle looks like. It's what's it called? Taraxipus? Taraxipus? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Sounds close.
Taraxippos. So there you go. The first legendary Strand scout rifle. So there you go. It's basically Strand Hung Jury. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Hung Jury, though. At least back in the day. But I got it with what did I get? I got it with whatever the god roll he was selling in the first part of the Taken King, which had like Firefly and something else on it. But it was like the god roll, and I never took it off.
It's probably triple tap, I think.
I think it was triple tap actually. So how to win the Guardian games? Are you guys ready? Here's your secret. Okay. The spirit of the Guardian games remains the same. The podium and the daily crest are back in the tower, as well as our beloved Eva Lafontaine with no head. Have you guys seen those images floating around of her like in the tower with no? Her head is
Discord
missing.
today.
Well, at the dawning, she was like literally like she was on speed or something because she was all jittery, and now she just doesn't have a head.
Yeah. Man, that's where drugs get you, kids. You get jittery and then your head falls off. Activities that reward you low tier bronze or silver medals include Gambit and quick play Crucible matches. Great, not playing Gambit. Anything from the Vanguard playlist, as well as most Neptune activities and Defiant Battlegrounds. For high tier medallions, the gold and platinum ones, play Nightfalls, Raids, Dungeons, Competitive Crucible, Trials of Osiris, and Legend Defiant Battlegrounds. Contender cards, which are purchased for 1,000 Glimmer, also award gold medallions. You can only carry 2 contender cards at a time, one for strikes in Gambit and another focused on Crucible. Platinum cards award platinum medallions, and those cost 1,500 Glimmer each. Just like contender cards, you can carry 2 of these at a time, one for strikes and Gambit and one for Crucible. Those are the basics of the event. Play the game, earn medallions, and dunk them into the podium so your class wins the day, then the week, and then the whole event. Of course, you will have a chance to earn 2 Guardian Games weapons while doing all that, either when turning in medallions or when completing activities in the events. The title Void SMG is back with new perks, like the fan favorite Repulsor Brace. The new featured Guardian Games weapon is called the Taraxipus, the first legendary strand scout rifle. It's a lightweight frame and has some amazing perk combinations like the ones we won't spoil. So yeah, if you're into Guardian Games, the book, the Guardian Games book thing is back. So if you want to pay $10 to have your card, I guess. Yeah, gross.
It comes with a pretty sick, nasty shader. It's red and black.
Yep.
Because I don't have enough red and black shaders.
Well, this one. So there's a lot of there's a good amount of red and black shaders, but a lot of them are like the Black Armory one. It has like the weird little lines in it. The one from Scourge of the Past, it has the like carbon fiber thing. A lot of them are they're like a shinier red and black. This is like matte red and black, and it's super cool.
I do enjoy a good matte black.
Yes.
So
maybe
I'll...
good matte black.
It's the new Carbon Blood.
Yeah. It's better than Carbon Blood. Way better.
Yeah. So maybe I'll check out the shader, but I'm not buying the thing. I refuse to buy the event passes. I refuse. I'm that guy. They can make enough money off of other people. Okay. They don't need my $10, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm not gonna read the rest of this Guardian Games thing. If you participate, have fun. I kind of like the armor. It's better than most of the Guardian Games armor. Although I really like the Hunter set, actually. Like the hood and like the mask looks super cool. Yeah. The Warlock looks pretty generic, actually. Not that I'm opposed to it, but the Hunter definitely has the most style, and then the Titan is just I don't fucking know what's going on with the Titan. Titan armor always sucks. We're just gonna continue to complain.
At least it's lean this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Here's the thing. The only cool armor set, I can't get the fucking cowboy hat. So
well, that brings us into the next thing. These Season of the Deep pictures with this sick ass armor on it.
I know. Yeah, if you haven't seen, so we're going to talk about their kind of preview for Season of the Deep, Season 21. this armor is pretty cool. It has this jellyfish looking flavor going on, and it looks pretty cool. The key art is like this giant kind, I'm guessing it's some sort of submarine or underground kind of, or underwater battle station that Sloane is kind of taking refuge in. Maybe her arm is taken, which is crazy. I want to. This has me really intrigued on like what's going on with her now. But you see this window looking out into the water, and there's this giant Leviathan dragon eye, or worm. I think it's the Leviathan dragon. But
Probably.
you see the Guardians there with their jellyfish stuff. I really like the Warlock kind of cape, the flowy cape thing going on. I don't understand what's going on with this hunter cape. It kind of looks like he's wearing a giant loofah. But
the Titan looks like they have a tutu on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, that thing's definitely going to be shaded pink, 100%.
Yeah. I'm seeing some purple, white, pink, and purple, black going on here. So look at the key art. It's super cool. I'm seeing this key art has me kind of excited to see what kind of story they're going to tell this season, because this current season story was kind of lackluster in a lot of ways. So we've got plenty to share over the coming weeks and a lot to dive into today, including quote, "We couldn't stand waiting any longer to talk about 3 new aspects." The hunter aspect is the threaded specter. Activate your class ability to leave behind a decoy woven from strand matter that draws the attention of nearby combatants. That sounds sick. Oh my gosh, that sounds so sick. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That kind of reminds me of the Halo Reach ability, the mimic, like what was it called, like the mimic ability, where like you could hide and activate it and have like a fake Spartan run out. And
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. That's going to be used in PvP for sure. After taking significant damage or when combatants approach, the decoy detonates, dealing damage and releasing the threadlings that seek out and attack nearby foes. Oh my god, dude.
That's so cool.
Oh shit, do I have to make a hunter? Jesus Christ.
Dude, that's so cool.
That's cool. Pesky Cabal gunfire have you pinned down? Need a quick distraction so you can revive a teammate? Have you ever thought about what a bunch of threadlings in a trench coat looks like? The new threaded specter aspect for the hunter thread runner might just be what you're looking for. When players activate their dodge, they leave behind a decoy woven from strand matter that draws the attention of enemies on the battlefield. Enemies will shoot at this threaded specter until it is destroyed or expires, giving the hunter and their fire team enough time to get to safety. When destroyed, the threaded specter explodes into 2 threadlings. The threaded specter gives hunter players access to threading generation and a new way to control the battlefield. This sounds awesome.
I'm so excited. Oh my god. This is the first time I saw this, and now I'm like, good thing with Strand, man. I'm so happy right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I can hear Josh freaking out about this too. This sounds super cool. The Titan aspect is called Fletchet Storm. While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to leap into the air, knocking nearby targets away and dealing damage. While airborne, activate your charged melee again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. Repeatedly activating melee will chain additional throws. That sounds okay. Definitely not as cool as the hunter one. Berserker Titans are known for their unbridled aggression. While sprinting headfirst into battle is often the best way to deploy Berserker abilities, we want to provide players with a tool that allows more potency at range and gives Titan an easier way to unravel enemies. This is where Fletchet Titan or Fletchet Storm comes in. Fletchet, that sounds wrong. It's probably Fletchet. something.
Yeah, whatever.
With Fletched Storm, Berserkers have access to access to a new powerful slide melee attack that quickly launches them up into the air and blasts away any nearby enemies. While still airborne, press the melee button again to fire a cluster of tracking projectiles that deal heavy damage and unravels enemies. Fletched Storm provides a Berserker with a ranged melee option while keeping with the spirit of the fast-paced gameplay. Cool. That sounds cool. I think that's a cool addition. But I guess we'll find out. The Warlock aspect is the Wanderer. Tangles you throw attached to enemies and detonate into suspending bursts. Threadling final blows create a tangle. Since the Warlock Broodweaver is a strand minion master, it felt natural to explore additional ways the Broodweaver might weave life into the world around them. Enter the Wanderer, a sentient tangle woven from Broodweaver brilliance. When the Warlock's equipped with the aspect picks up a tangle, they weave the tangle into the Wanderer. When thrown, the Wanderer travels through the air, seeking its targets. Once it finds its target, it soars towards them, latches on, and explodes in a suspending detonation that deals damage and suspends any nearby enemies. To round out the gameplay loop, the Wanderer will enable also enables threadling final blows from any source to generate a tangle. The Wanderer gives Broodweavers another way to upgrade their tangles and grant access to the suspend effect without needing a shackle grenade. We're pretty excited to get these new strand aspects into the game, and we hope you enjoy them when Season 21 launches. We'll be monitoring their performance across the game, and we'll continue to balance them over time. These sound really cool.
Yeah,
man, this seems like a cool way to get people excited to use strand again, because I don't know, I feel like yeah. I definitely think the Hunter one has the most potential to be the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Anytime you can like make a fake clone or a mirror of yourself to distract people is awesome.
We're about to be able to drop a clone and then just straight up Spider-Man away, because we have reduced cooldown. And what was the other thing for Strand? Hold on, let me go back here.
The needle.
Yeah, there was the needle. The reduced cooldown. It's just so cool. It's gonna be so cool being a Strand Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
That's super cool. That's so cool. I also kind of think the Titan one is interesting. I think having a more ranged, because I think that's the problem for me with Strand on a Titan, is that there's no ranged. You really have to build like a resilience and recovery type build all the time for Strand, and as much as I really like going in there and not dying punching things, like I don't know, it would be nice to have options to build around, because there's not really that many options, I guess, for Titans to be ranged. Yeah. So unless you're a solar Titan, usually. So all right, we're gonna skip the subclass stuff because we literally just did that for an hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you are just joining us in the middle of this podcast, please listen to the first hour and 10 minutes. There's a lot of economy changes coming in. We've got a few things to go over, including changes to our power band, crafting economy changes, exotic armor focusing, and even more. For the first time, we will not be increasing the power bands in Destiny 2 in Season 21. The power floor is 1600, the soft cap is 1750, and the powerful cap is 1800, while the pinnacle cap is 1810, and will not be changed over the course of Season 21. If players hit the pinnacle cap during Season 20, they will remain at the pinnacle cap in Season 21. We knew this already, but Ronnie, you and I were kind of talking before Fox got on about this. We kind of feel like them limiting the power cap. I mean, I think overall, I think the power cap's just going to go away at some point. Over the next, probably, I would guess after the final shape. I'm assuming it'll just go away and everything's going to be based on the way you craft and masterwork and your artifact, how you upgrade your artifact and stuff like that. Because I think the power cap is just it's kind of like, remember when you used to have the player level and then the power level, and like it would literally block you from using certain things because you weren't high enough level. I think the power cap is hitting that aspect again now, with that, especially with the addition of the artifacts and crafting and masterworking stuff. So I think the power cap is actually going to go away at the end of this saga, I guess you would call it. So
I think it'll go
think
away before that.
you think it'll go away before the final shape?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a story reason, a lore reason that the power cap just goes away.
Well, I think it's cool. I mean, like, yeah, great. You're stopping the need for higher power, or get rid of it, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're getting rid of something that people will grind the game for. So hopefully they're able to make up in content what they're getting rid of the grind for. So
yeah. That's what we were talking about.
Let's hope it's for the better.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. It's like, so like, I see it from a business standpoint where anybody can just come in and play randomly, but like, that kind of is good, but it also sucks for us that doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I think they are having a very difficult time getting new players in, right? I think that's the big concern for Destiny as we approach the end here, right? Is like, okay, everybody's talking about how the story just advances and advances and advances, right? And like, you can't play some of the, like, the beginning of Destiny 2, right? So like, you're kind of jumping in the middle anyways, and then you're missing the seasonal story, and they're kind of band-aiding that with their seasonal archive stuff on YouTube, right? But like, at the end of the day, the new player experience in Destiny is terrible, and trying to jump in now is probably not the best idea. Right. And so I think you're going to see an influx of new players when whatever happens after the final shape comes in, but you still need to draw people in before then too. So I don't know. It's tough, I guess, but I mean, we could probably talk about that issue all night.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. I want to talk about exotic armor focusing and decryption, guys. We touched on this in the past, but it's worth repeating regarding exotic armor focusing and decryption coming to Rahul at the start of the season 21. Standard decryption allows players to decrypt engrams for free. Great. Didn't want to have to pay for that. Players receive random drops from standard exotic engram loot pools at no additional cost. Great. So here's where it starts costing a little bit of resources here. So at tier 1, you get, Red War exotics, Forsaken exotic armor, anything before Lightfall, essentially. Requires ownership of the associated expansion, as well as having previously acquired all armor pieces within the engram of your class. It'll cost 1 exotic engram, 1 Ascendant Shard, and 30,000 Glimmer. So if you're looking for those exotics, random roll exotics, there you go. Interesting. Tier 2, focus specific armor, exotic armor for a high cost. Requires ownership of the associated expansion, as well as having previously acquired the piece of armor. And it requires 1 exotic engram, 60,000 Glimmer, 3 Ascendant Shards, and 1 exotic Cipher.
Yep.
So essentially almost what it costs to masterwork it.
Well, they are increasing the exotic ciphers that we can carry.
Can they increase the Ascendant Shards too?
I think they are. I don't remember.
Because if I can only hold 10, and the mailbox can only hold however 10 too.
Yeah.
Just think about it. You're spending 3. And then you're spending 3 more to get it masterwork. So there's 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Give us more stuff. Give us more opportunity to get it, to get them.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, I think I really think limiting the amount of these things that you can hold at once is kind of dumb. I don't know if that's like I don't know how much that like affects like how they program the game or whatever, or if like even if PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are holding these things back too. Like I don't know if any of that has anything to do with it, but I think they need to like, hey, if I want to hold 1,000 golf balls, I can hold 1,000 golf balls, right? So
right.
Mm-hmm.
It's my opinion. Also, the postmaster should hold every engram you can't carry, or any. There shouldn't be a limit on postmaster. There shouldn't be a limit on, your. I still think they need to increase the vault space too, but.
And keep in mind also, this is spending all of that in a chance for a better roll. Like it's going to be a better roll, but it might not be the roll that you want.
I know. That's the thing too. Gross. Yeah. We've also taken a pass at the exotic armor stat packages, so your exotics should roll consistently higher stats with more frequent individual stat spikes starting at Season 21. That's great. Lastly, since we are not raising the Pinnacle cap in Season 21, we need the need for many Pinnacle legendary rewards has dropped significantly. To help make playing in our Evergreen Ritual playlist more worthwhile, we are changing the rewards from basic complete activity challenges to a focusable, powerful exotic engram. This gives most players 3 to 9 free, achievable, and deterministic weekly exotic engrams ready for focusing.
I like that.
If you have the golf balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, you'll be losing some Pinnacle drops, so reaching the Pinnacle cap will be a bit slower for everyone. We are hoping the need for the less Pinnacle drops continues in future seasons, but we will be looking for feedback and analytics and are ready to adjust as necessary. Other sources of focusable exotic engrams are random world drops, season pass, paid and free tracks, 6 on the paid track and 2 per free, 2 free per season, vendor reputation tracks, and you can expect additional focusable exotic engram sources in future seasons. Deep sight activation and crafting economy changes. Holy cow. Man, we are 1/3 of the way through the 12, everybody. Deep sight activation and crafting economy changes. In Season 21, we will be adding the ability to effectively activate deep sight on weapon instances to obtain pattern progress. This capability will be accessible through a new mod slot in the weapon details screen for eligible weapons. To perform a deep sight activation on a weapon, you will need a new deep sight harmonizer currency. Great. More currency.
Mm-hmm.
Non-raid weapons. Non-raid. Non-raid weapons will cost 1 harmonizer, while raid weapons will require 15 spoils of conquest in additional to 1 harmonizer. Fox's face is so funny. This is ridiculous.
It's like the Thanos situation in spoilers for Endgame. If you somehow still have not remained, whatever. Anyway, he's using the stones to like. Oh my god, we're using currency to get rid of currency. I don't get it.
Right.
This fucking game.
Right. Oh my gosh.
This game.
Anyways, this is
we live in a society.
Do we? I don't know if we do. The deep sight harmonizer currency can be obtained from season pass rank rewards, 3 in the first 3 ranks and another 3 in the paid. This will be the sole source of this currency for the initial rollout of the future. Additionally, only 1 harmonizer can be stored in the inventory at one time. The currency does not stack. Of course, you can only carry 1. Why wouldn't you be able to carry more? Oh my gosh, Destiny. What are you doing? Not all weapon instances will be compatible with deep sight activation. Of course not. You will be prevented from activating deep sight for a weapon that has already had its pattern unlocked.
Well, why would you want to put it in there in the first place?
Right. Oh my gosh. Weapons that previously had deep sight will be ineligible. You cannot activate deep sight on a weapon instance which had originally been acquired with deep sight, nor can you activate deep sight multiple times in a single weapon instance. Of course not.
Cool.
Let's see. Weapon instances purchased from raid vendors will be ineligible. However, weapons purchased from Xur and the gunsmith will support deep sight activation.
So I can see this. Like, I understand this. Because that, like, if you could do that, then that means that you would play the raid or the boss checkpoint for 3 times or 4 times, and then you'd already have it to craft it. So this gives you the wait until next week again.
Yeah.
Out of all those points, that's the one that makes sense.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Well, Sure. this is just no. I know what you're saying. I just like this whole thing. Every time I think something is like, yeah, they're making it easier. They're making it a better grinding experience. They're like, by the way, crafting costs will also see a change in season 21. Legendary shard costs will be removed from all crafting components. Glimmer and enhancement core costs will remain untouched. Enhanced weapon costs are based on weapon masterwork costs and thus will still require legendary shards, as we are not yet modifying the weapon masterwork economy in season 21. Great.
Not yet.
Yeah. So thoughts on the deep sight activation crafting economy changes, everybody? Sounds like a yeah, that's what I need. More currency to store. At least you can only store one, guys, so it doesn't get too crazy out there,
Yeah.
Quality of life. We're going to quality of life updates because I need some positivity in my life, I guess. Coming in season 21, we have a number of quality of life updates we are excited to share with you. First up, let's take a look at raid triumphs. Over the last year, the raid and dungeon team has added triumphs to new raids and dungeons: Duality, Spire of the Watcher, and Root of Nightmares, which gives a boosted chance of receiving an exotic weapon drop for that raid or dungeon once completed. In season 21, we're adding boosted triumphs to legacy content with randomly dropped exotic weapons to bring them up to our standard for raids and dungeons. Yes, everybody can get that Vex Mythoclast, your Touch of Malice, your Eyes of Tomorrow, thousand voices, I guess. So yeah, great, good change. We added them to existing triumphs and are retroactive. So if you already have done the requisite triumphs, you immediately start getting a boost. Great, love the change. So depending on your triumph, there's tables here in the TWAB. I'll let you guys go over these tables, but basically, your rate boost will be added depending on which triumph you have. I think the harder the triumph, the more boost you get. So, like, just for example, for 1,000 voices in Last Witch, Petra's Run gives you +3, right? And the new meta gives you +2, and then some of the easier triumphs gives you +1. And then each challenge in the raids also gives you a +1 for 5 total. So that's awesome. These are good changes, I think.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I like these. Yeah. I'm not going to go through all the triumphs and everything. So you guys can kind of check those out, but very, very good change for raids. I know a lot of people are still trying to get people have done like 50 and 60 runs of Vault and still haven't gotten Vex Mythoclast. So let's talk about some of the finest Matter Weave and Rainmaker deprecation, everybody, because that's super exciting for everybody. As part of our ongoing efforts to simplify economy in Destiny 2, as you just added more currency, that just gonna throw that in there. It's time to say goodbye to the finest Matter Weave and Rainmaker consumable items. But I like Rainmaker. It gives me all kinds of glimmer.
Do you?
No. I don't.
Okay.
Starting in Season 21, these items will no longer drop from any source in the game. In any instance where players would have received a finest Matter Weave, they will receive one enhancement core instead. And whenever players would have gotten a drop of a Rainmaker, they will instead get 3,000 glimmer. Great.
Cool.
Vanguard bounties. Sorry, I was choking on something. It's fine. I'm alive. It's all good. We haven't made wide-ranging updates to Vanguard bounties in a while, so we're taking a pass at them to make them friendlier. Your daily bounties, existing daily bounties requiring you to get a specific type of kill, grenade, headshot, or any special or heavy weapons, now require twice as many kills to complete, but can be done anywhere in the game with increased progress in Vanguard Ops or Nightfalls. If you only plan on doing these in Vanguard activities, you should see no change in behavior. Great. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
We have also added a number of new bounties, killing elites, mini-bosses, and champions, killing with elemental abilities with bonuses for kill on subclass verb, and complete 2 Vanguard activities. Regarding repeatable bounties, all enemy type kill bounties have significantly increased requirements, but can be advanced by killing any combatant in a Vanguard activity with significantly increased progress for killing the correct type of combatant. We also added 1 new repeatable bounty, 1 for getting fire team kills in a Vanguard activity. Cool. These are cool changes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I want to do the Vanguard bounties, but I don't feel like running the Vanguard Ops playlist.
Right.
So that's cool. The Good Boy Protocol. Archie is returning in Season 21. Now that we have found him a permanent home in the tower, we are reintroducing the Good Boy Protocol stat tracker and moving it to the account career category. Your previous progress from Season 19 will also carry over. Cool. Glad to see Archie is back. Important Season Pass info starting with Season 21. As our team continues to invest in crafting compelling seasonal experiences for the year of Lightfall, there's a heads up we wanted to give regarding a small increase in the standalone Season Pass price beginning with Season of the Deep. Here's what you can expect. The Season Pass is increasing from 1,000 silver to 1,200 silver. Season Pass plus 10 ranked bundle is moving from 2,000 silver to 2,200 silver.
So basically $10 to $12.
I thought we were under quality of life changes here, guys. What is this? Spending more money is not quality of life.
Good quality of life. I mean, it's just quality of life.
You're right. I guess it's. Oh my gosh, man! Did they not see anybody freak out about the dungeon pass costing money like at all, or these event passes?
Again, we live in a society.
Again, do we?
I mean, essentially, for us 3, it doesn't matter, right? Because we usually get the
I guess that's true. Like if you buy the $100 version, although I almost see the next of the final shape moving up $20, the collector's or the digital edition or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to get like just a standard game, like not deluxe, not anything, it's just straight up $70 now. It used to be 60.
Yeah.
Back in
my day.
Back in Ronnie's day.
Back in my day. To be fair, I paid $95 for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater at Walmart for Nintendo 64. So I remember when games cost a lot of money on cartridges, but that's more of a Nintendo thing than a overall game thing. But I digress. There will be new pricing for season passes in Lightfall's year for those looking to maximize their rewards for each new season, and we'll be evaluating new approaches for post-launch content in the year of the final shape. Pricing will remain unchanged for Lightfall Standard Edition, which includes access to the current live season at the time of purchase, and Lightfall Plus Annual Pass Edition, which includes access to seasons 20 through 23. So unchanged there if you buy it all at once. Yeah.
So with this price change, does that mean that the season pass is going to be better?
No.
With content-wise that we get?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
They're also, yeah, I don't know. This is, I mean, it just like, I mean, $2 isn't exactly a lot of money, right? But like, it still kind of sucks whenever you see an increase. I don't know. I get it though, but also like, they have Sony money now. Like,
Right.
I don't understand how game development works and how much it costs. I know games cost a lot of money to make, and I know it probably keeps a lot of you know, I know they're hiring up for other things, and I know they need to make money to pay for these new projects and everything. I just kind of feel bad for the person that just wants to jump into the season, or like, hey, I want to play the last season. Oh, I got to pay more money now. I don't know. But again, I guess who's complaining over $2? If you're complaining over $2, maybe you should find a new hobby because this one's expensive.
Yeah.
So I guess I see it both ways. Trials rewards are flawless and weapon changes on the way. So I don't know if you see the ship looks cool. The Sparrow is interesting. The Ghost is cool. Season 21 will be here before you know it, and luckily for Trials fans, this means new rewards to earn are just around the corner. Next season, Guardians will have the chance to unlock a new exotic cosmetic rewards when opening the Lighthouse rewards chest. The Ghost Shell, the ship, and the Sparrow, as well as the glorious patina shader, which is golden brown.
So it's golden poop.
Yeah. For season 21, here's what's been added to the Trials loot pool. The Messenger is back, and then unexpected resurgence adaptive arc glaive, because that's what I think of in Trials is glaives.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try Trials. Maybe glaives are in. Maybe that's
No. No.
The following weapons will be removed from the standard loot pool in season 21. But the non-adept versions will be available via legacy focusing. The Inquisitor shotgun and Whistler's Whim bow. Let's see. Do we want to talk about labs? I guess we could talk about some labs. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure some of this stuff is important. I don't know if I need to read all of this. They're adding an intro quest for Trials of Osiris, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about that a little bit. There's just a lot of Trials things here. I don't think we need to talk about Trials labs. The new matchmaking system allows us to match based on card state and track skill, which we were planning to use for analytics purposes. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about this Trials lab stuff. They're testing. What they're doing is they're testing a new style of matchmaking for Trials of Osiris. I'll read this first paragraph, but you guys can read about all the major changes coming if you want. Overall, the new system works mostly as intended, but we discovered an issue with the lobby balancer, which was causing high skill solo players to often feel like matches were stacked against them. For some background, since we moved to using ticket-based matchmaking years ago, we have not been tracking skill in Trials and have not been utilizing any sort of skill-based lobby balancing either. The new matchmaking system allows us to match based on card state and track skill, which we are planning to use for analytics purposes. Preemptively, we believed we had disabled the skill-based lobby balancing, as the intent of the new system was to maintain the randomized nature of the lobbies present in previous iterations of trials. Unfortunately, this turns out to be not the case. Turns out to not be the case, and the previous latent lobby balancer came back online as soon as player skill values started to solidify over the weekend. So they identified the issue and they're kind of fixing it. You guys can go read the rest of that. They're adding a new Trials of Osiris intro quest. So you guys can read about that intro quest as well. I think that's more for newer players than for people I think that listen to the show that consistently play Trials. I think you can read that later. Oh my gosh, it scrolled me all the way back up to the top. Jesus Christ. But I do want to talk about Dominion, which is the new core game mode for Trials. This is not a change we are making lightly, but after several seasons of testing it in Trials labs and analyzing both the positives and negatives, we believe the shift is the best interest of Trials as a whole for several reasons. One, offers a choice between playing elimination and playing an objective. On average, games are 15% faster than standard elimination games. The prevailing strategy for most elimination games has devolved over the years to focus on passive play, waiting on someone to make a mistake and get picked, or just simply waiting for the zone to come up at the end of a round anyways. By spawning the zone earlier, it creates pressure for players to engage and fight earlier in the round and puts extreme passivity as a disadvantage. Objectives promote more varied engagements on the map, as the zones direct players around the map and establish multiple defined fronts. Most engagements in standard elimination happen at a single central location, generally centered around where the overtime zone will spawn. Have multiple zones allowed for different permutations of rounds based on team and zone spawn locations, which make gameplay less static and pushes players to experience different engagement arenas on the map. It promotes a healthier sandbox variety in both weapons and subclasses. On weekends, we do run Dominion. We see less consolidation around general strongest elements in the sandbox, and success is spreading out amongst more weapons and subclass types. We have been hesitant to balance parts of the sandbox around a game mode that only rotated into Trials on occasion, but moving it into the core mode will allow it to better focus on the sandbox and address the outliers in effectiveness that do exist. It provides us with more balancing levers and changes the gameplay experience. If maps play poorly in a standard elimination, there's little we can do to alter it. With Dominion, we have a larger number of levers we can pull to modify the maps to provide the best and most balanced experience possible. For example, in Season 21, we're changing the initial player and zone spawn locations on Burnout based on feedback from the first Season 20 Trials labs. Teams will no longer spawn at Hall inside and East Yard outside. Both teams spawn between Tumbler and Yard on the east side and west sides, and the zones will run down the center of the middle Yard, center, and altar. Having multiple zones means we can change the maps more quickly to address concerns of the flowing or about flow or balance, allowing us to better manage asymmetrical maps. We understand switching to Dominion may make carrying other players to the lighthouse more difficult challenge due to the increased premium place on solid teamwork, but it's important to note that those experiences must be weighted against the bulk of all player experiences in the playlist when we make decisions on the changes to implement. Is this going to make people mad? Is Dominion an interesting mode for Trials? I mean, I don't.
It'll probably make some people mad.
Well, it's Destiny. Somebody's always mad. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think
I
for like
the
a
option,
yeah,
but I'm not like a hardcore PvP either. But
yeah, I was gonna say from somebody who doesn't play a lot of PvP, this sounds more interesting for me because I think it kind of balances the, where like changing the spawn points, bringing things up faster. I think that sounds more interesting. And as somebody who plays super aggressively a lot of the time, because I don't care to learn how to play PvP, but B, also that's just how I like to play. Like it sounds interesting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's something you'd have to ask the dealer about.
Yeah.
So also there's changes coming to Gilded Flawless. I'll let you guys read that because there's some changes in there that I'm gonna be honest, don't care. That's a short section. I don't care. You got any of those emblems? New emblems for trials. Looks cool. I like the color scheme. It's interesting. But that's it, guys. That's the TWAB. Also new Twitch Prime stuff. It's okay, I guess. That's it. We're done. We're done with the TWAB, everybody. Yay, we did it. Only an hour and 47 minutes in. We did it. I don't know. I think season 21 seems interesting. I think there's a lot going on. I think they're trying to do a lot. I think they expect a majority of their players to be playing other games at this point, and I think maybe they're trying to retain some interest in the game while people go play stuff like Diablo or Zelda, or I guess Star Wars is out now, right? Like, I feel like this is a point where people start taking breaks from Destiny, and they're going to need people to keep playing if they want to get some data on these new modes and stuff. So,
Yep.
All right, let's answer some questions and then we'll get out of here. Our first question comes from Zao Ambrosia. He asks, "What is a highly underrated movie in your opinion, and what is highly overrated one?" Oh gosh.
Hot take segment.
Oh no.
Yeah, hot takes.
Hot take. I don't I don't watch movies unless I'm like highly interested in them, I guess. Underrated movie. Man. I don't know, man. I think one of my favorite movies of all time is the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie. I think that's underrated because I think a lot of people like the second one better. But the first one is the best. Also, third Indiana Jones movie is better than Raiders of the Lost Ark. So throw that out there too. Hot take.
That's a hot take.
Last Crusade. Underrated movie, by the way. I'm going to say it. And Josh is never going to come back, so I need somebody to volunteer to come back next week too. Speaking of Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Not the worst Indiana Jones movie. That's my hot take.
Wow.
Temple of Doom, worst Indiana Jones movie.
Wow.
Those are some hot.
Those
hot
are
takes.
sizzling takes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break some hearts here for an over. Well, I'll do. What's an underrated movie that I've seen? I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of movies lately because they're all kind of poop. An underrated movie. I don't know, man. Probably like I don't know. I would say Solo, but Solo was pretty bad.
Solo is great.
Oh
man, Solo was fun.
No. Overrated movie. Hot take. Happy Gilmore. Continuing on.
Why do you hate us?
I don't hate. I just don't. Look, I'm gonna here. I have my chance to defend myself right now. Adam Sandler plays the same
Fox,
character. He plays the same character in every movie. I said what I said. Period.
Okay, so I can give my opinion because it won't be as bad as Fox's.
Yeah.
Underrated, I think Princess Bride. Overrated is Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh man,
Uh,
Napoleon Dynamite's
fair.
awesome.
I didn't say it wasn't awesome. I'm just saying I think it's overrated.
Yeah, I guess you did say that. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong. Ronnie, it's been nice having you too. I finished this show up by myself. Although I did have some pretty bad takes on my own too. So he also asked, with a few days in on Guardian Games, how do you feel? How are your feelings on it? What are your thoughts on Supremacy? I enjoy it. Supremacy is awesome. I mean, I haven't played it during Guardian Games, but I like Supremacy. It was better when Shoulder Charge killed enemies killed players in one hit.
Mhm.
In Destiny 1, but I still like Supremacy. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
I didn't like it when it first came out. I haven't played it yet. So, well, that's what back when Supremacy was like super in rotation, and it was like every other match was fucking Supremacy.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, back in
That's
vanilla
100% true.
Destiny 2. Glad those days are gone.
Oh man, good times. Am I right? Jiggly Panda asks, with Tears of the Kingdom being only a week away when this episode drops, will we be getting a Zelda themed podcast sometime in the future? I'm gonna say probably yes. We are also, not that I plug this an awful lot, but on my other podcast, we're doing a video game book club for Zelda as well. So there's going to be all kinds of Zelda floating across my social media the next couple.
So, hottest take of them all. I'm sure I'm never going to be invited back here. I've never played a Zelda game ever in my whole life.
Oh, that's not a hot take. I thought you were going to say like it sucks or something.
Oh no, no, I've never played a Zelda game. I'm not a Nintendo person, TBH. So
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Breath of the Wild though, it's a great game.
I'd have to check it out.
Also, Jiggly Panda also asks, also, since it is Star Wars Day, if you could bring back one character who has died in the series, who would it be and why? Darth Maul, man. No, Darth Maul is not dead. I lied.
Yeah, well, Clone Wars canon. Yeah, he's dead. But
Yeah.
well,
So here's the thing. I've only seen the Star Wars movies and the live action TV shows. So any of the cartoon stuff that's going on, I have no fucking idea what's going on. Okay. So
Clone Wars was really good. Rebels was decent, which Rebels is tying into Ahsoka, which is coming out in August, which I'm excited as fuck for. And then Bad Batch. I mean, it's alright. It's not Clone Wars, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Definitely not that little stupid like Jedi Juniors or whatever the hell it's called on fucking Disney Plus now.
Oh man, the young Jedi Adventures.
Yeah,
Man,
whatever the fuck that is.
my tiny children enjoy that show quite a bit.
Oh, I'm sure. I have not watched it, and I don't intend to.
Well, it's intended for like 2 to 5 year olds, so
Well, it happens. But to answer the question, I'd say from a plot point, Galen Urso. But from a cool POV, fucking Phasma, because Phasma's cool.
Yeah.
And that's on God. For real, no cap.
I think from a Star Wars standpoint, like not that you need to bring this character back from the dead, but I think you could do some sort of in between 6 and 7. I want to see old Han Solo and Chewbacca adventures. Like I want to see like 3 seasons of old Harrison Ford and Chewbacca going on some smuggling adventures,
That's fair.
Man. We've been my wife and I have been watching that show Shrinking on Apple TV Plus, and Harrison Ford is in it with Jason Segel, and he just plays this grumpy old therapist with Parkinson's disease. It's so dude, he's so funny. He's so funny. Oh my god. Cuz he's just playing grumpy Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Also comment on this. Josh says, I will judge each and every person who provides an answer to the Star Wars question. It's fine. He's already judged me 1,000 times. It's fine.
Yeah.
Our last question comes from Tiger Jesus 64. He writes in and says, what was your first podcast you started and or listened to? First podcast I've started. Man, like started listening to or like started as a podcaster? I guess that would be. I wonder if this question was intended for me and Josh. I mean, not that you guys can't answer too. I don't know. I suppose.
Well, the first podcast I listened to was probably one of the funniest podcasts I've ever listened to in my life. Was Two Bears, One Cave with Jason Segura and or Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer or Kreischer, and then the Misfits podcast. I'm sorry, but Bert Kreischer is just that man's so funny.
Tom Segura is hilarious.
I could listen to both of them just spout stupidities all day, and it will still make me laugh.
I'm gonna have to listen to that podcast because Tom Segura is fucking hilarious.
It's so funny. Very highly recommend.
Yeah. I mean, the first podcast I ever started listening to, man. I mean, it was probably like a round of IGN podcasts back in the day, like all their stuff, although I've fallen off almost all of them at this point. Quite a bit, actually. So I guess it would be whatever their whole round of podcasts were, like Podcast Beyond and Nintendo Voice Chat, and I think at the time it was three red lights, but it's Podcast Unlocked now. Although I still listen to Podcasts Unlocked sometimes because I like Ryan McCaffrey, their host. He's very very knowledgeable in the Xbox ecosystem, and I don't know, he's just an OG in the Xbox space, so I like him. But the first podcast I started was actually a Destiny podcast. It was with an old group of people that I used to have a YouTube channel with, and it was called, our group was called DNA, and it was called DNA Weekly Strike, and it ran from the Dark Below all the way through Rise of Iron.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
And then my friends decided that they kind of just didn't want to do it anymore, and I moved on to other content, and here we are.
Here we
Back
are.
in Destiny. Woo!
Yep. Back on the Destiny train. Yeah. It's out there on YouTube still if you want to watch it. I don't recommend it because I'm terrible at hosting, so especially 7 years ago, and I didn't know how to do it 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
It's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute. And that's it. We did it, guys. We nailed it. First try.
We did it.
We did it.
Took us 2 hours, but we did it. We did.
Yeah, we did. We did. Look, we had 2 huge blogs to go through. I'm very proud of myself for not skipping over almost any of it. So,
well, to be fair, that the trials stuff took up like a third of the freaking TWAB.
I know.
Yeah.
And also, to be fair, like I only skipped it because we were gonna hit about 2 hours, over 2 hours, and I, thought that would be the easiest stuff to cut at that point we were at. So, but Fox, Ronnie, thanks for joining me on this episode of Tower Casuals. This is fun. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. I know I don't get to talk to you often, but when I do, it's a good time. It's a good time.
It is a good time.
Yeah. Do you guys want to tell people where they can find you, or do they just find you in the Discord?
Obviously, find us in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. You find me on Instagram at T7Fox. And next week, the week of whatever the fuck next week is,
the week after this one,
the week of the 8th, I begin streaming Friday the 12th. My first stream will probably be Minecraft because I have literally nothing better to do with my life than stream Minecraft at 22 years old. So I will be playing Minecraft at Twitch.
Jesus Christ.
At twitch.tv/T7Fox.
Awesome.
You can find the link in the Discord. Join the Discord.
Can find the link in the Discord.
Yes.
What about you, Ronnie?
I'm just usually on Discord, so come hit me up.
Yep. It's at Ronnie. You can't miss him.
Yeah. At Ronnie.
Can't miss me.
Or at Raid Leader because he's almost always the first one to answer it.
It's true. It's true.
Somebody's going to pick up for you slackers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talk about somebody who's slacking. It's me. It's me. You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me doing this show. You can follow us at Tower Casuals on social media platforms everywhere. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All those things. You can check out my other content if you really want to. Thank you everybody for watching and or listening. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.